my channel. If you are new here, I review movies every single week, ASMR style. I post Tuesday and Friday. So if you're new here, please leave a suggestion in the comments about what movie you would like to see, or even if you're not new here, even if you're a returning viewer, please leave a comment on which movie you'd like me to review. If the comments are on, I'm having a glitch on my end ever since I started my channel, which I hope to get straightened out. I think YouTube might be turning them off because I'm a minor, but anyway, welcome to my channel. Today I will be reviewing the movie Reign of Fire. It's a movie that came out in 2002. It's about dragons. It's one of my favorite. It's a movie that I feel like I grew up with. Like, I can't actually remember the first time I watched this movie. It was that far back. I can't remember the first time I watched this movie. It's just been like a part of my life. So I really like this movie, and I hope all of you enjoy this video, and let's get right into it. So first, I just want to say two things real quick. This microphone is a little too good sometimes. Like, I've been trying to test how it gets my voice and if it's better a little bit farther or a little bit closer, because sometimes it picks up like my actual breath, like when I'm breathing in and out, and that's not very good to hear on the on the headphones. So I'm testing out the sound, so I'm sorry if it might get lower or a little bit louder. Just a little disclaimer here. And another mini disclaimer about my disclaimers is that in the last video I reviewed the movie Cloverfield, but at the beginning of that video I said that there would be a written disclaimer at the beginning of that video. Well, I underestimated just how much work I had left to do on the written disclaimer, so it wasn't there. But I'm hoping it'll be at the beginning of this one, but I'm not gonna say it's gonna be for sure, because in my last video when I was editing it and trying to upload it, because I ran a little late on time last time, I was like, wait, I told everyone in the video that there would be a disclaimer, and then there wasn't. So I'm not gonna guarantee that there will be a disclaimer this time, but I hope there will be. But now I'm gonna stop talking so we can get right into the video. I'm not gonna waste any more time now. So usually I'd open up my videos with segment 1, my expectations for this movie, and usually the movies I review, the first time I saw them was really like years ago. So I rewinded in my head and recalled like what my expectations were back then for this movie, the first time I saw it. But like I said at the beginning of this video, this movie has been like almost a part of my life. Like, I literally can't remember the first time I saw this movie. So I'm just kind of have to skip this part of the video, my expectations, because I don't even remember what they were. Now, real quick, I don't know if you can hear it, but there is a loud truck because some neighbors are moving in next door. So I hope you can't hear it because this microphone's really good. But if you can, I apologize in advance. Now we can actually get into talking about this movie. I'm sorry if that beginning was really long. I've been really trying to cut them down because I realized they have been getting like really long before I even start talking about the storyline. So I'm still getting better at that. This is still only my 4th movie review video. But with that aside, now we can start talking about the actual story. So this movie begins, and our main character is still like, I think like 12 years old at this point, or like young. And we learn that they live in London, him and his mother. So his mother works in a mine, and he goes over there to visit her after school. And we learn right away that his father isn't present in his life, so it's just him and his mom. So he's underground, and I still don't know how people can work underground. That gives me like the shivers. Like, I would never work underground. There's just like, it's like claustrophobic for people who aren't even claustrophobic. Like, I'm not claustrophobic, but I feel like I would feel like trapped down there. Like, but anyway, so he's down there visiting his mother in the mine, and some of the workers came across this like void, this extra cavern they didn't know existed. And out of that cavern, they wake up a sleeping dragon. Very spooky. And this main kid, he loses his mother in that cave. She passes away sadly. So we really learn that he is bitter towards power to the dragons, and we learned this is the first dragon that ever woke up. Like, we didn't know they existed before this. This movie starts off pretty intense and pretty crazy right away, and then it jumps into the future when our main character Quinn, I forgot to mention his name earlier, but when our main character Quinn is way older, and it shows that dragons, once that OG one woke up, a bunch of others started waking up too, and they like took over the world. It was showing like newspaper headlines and everything, and now the world is just like there's barely any human survivors. The dragons have run over the world. So we learned that there's an entire apocalypse. People barely exist, like in groups here and there and there. So currently we're still, I think, in the UK, not necessarily in London, but just like somewhere around there. So the main characters are in the UK, and it shows that they have like a civilization there. Like there's actually quite a bit of them, quite a bit of survivors from around that area. And Quinn is kind of like kind of the leader of all these people, because he's the one who knows the most about dragons and all that. So it shows that how this civilization lives, that they grow crops out there, and that they have their entire system and their alarms and their drills if they ever see a dragon. So it shows how all these people are living, and it's kind of sad. And this part of the movie has like a medieval feel, even though it's supposed to be in like modern times. But because everything is like just run down and it's all destruction and everything, they don't have cars or anything. They ride horses, and where they are kind of looks minorly like medieval times. So I won't spoil too much, which I mean like I've already kind of. So spoiler alert here. But their crops end up getting messed up, so now it looks like that civilization is in a bad place because there was barely enough food for that amount of people. Now it seems like there's gonna be less. So then they have this like watchtower, and they have the person in there with their telescope who watches mostly for dragons, but really for anything. Their alarm goes off, and they go up to the watchtower, and they see that there's like tanks and like trucks coming. Now I did actually mess up earlier in this video. They do have a few vehicles, but like it's very limited what they have. They have like a few jeeps and a few vans and stuff, and like one tank-ish kind of vehicle, but a lot of the times they use horses. So I did mess up earlier, I'm so sorry. But they see other tanks coming this way, like actual humans, actual people, and it turns out to be American people, and they're like, ugh, Americans, which that part always makes me laugh. But they're like, the only thing worse than dragons or whatever, I can't remember exactly what they say, but it's along those lines. Why do they hate Americans? I don't know. But anyway, so it turns out to be some American people who were in the American military, and I forgot, like, they were already over there in the UK when the dragons attacked her. I can't remember why the American soldiers are there again. I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank right there. But then our next wave of characters comes in the American military, and they start butting heads right away because they're like, yeah, can we stay here? And they're like, no. So they start butting heads kind of right away, but then they end up letting the Americans stay there for a little while. And the cool thing is that the American military people, they actually have like more still technologically advanced things. Like they literally still have a helicopter, which all the other people like Quinn and his people are all like, when they see it, because nothing has been in the sky since the dragons took over. So to see a helicopter, it's really crazy for them to see that. So the leader of the American military people, Van Zandt, that's his name, he goes by his last name, still don't know why so many people in so many of the movies I reviewed have like really strange names. Like in Cloverfield last week, one of them was HUD, H-U-D, HUD. And now it's like Quinn and Van Zandt, and I'm like, you know what, just get normal names next time. Or maybe those are normal names, who knows. But these movie people need to try and make them names a little more normal. And now I'm not talking like they don't have to make everyone John or Jack or Sally or whatever. I'm just saying like Van Zandt and HUD, whoever whoever would name their children's Van Zandt and Hood. No offense if you did that, but I'm just saying. American people, so Van Zandt and his people tell Quinn and his people that they've actually killed dragons before. Like, they know how to take them down. And Quinn and his people are like, they're skeptic at first, like, But then when a dragon ends up getting near that civilization, the Americans go and they take one down, they kill it. And then all of the people there are like celebrating because they've never killed a dragon before. Like, that's a new experience for them. And I don't really know how I feel about the Van Zandt and his people, because like he's like, oh, you guys are all celebrating, all having a jolly time when two of my people were killed, and then he makes them feel all horrible about it. Like, just let them celebrate. Like, this is the first time they've ever experienced killing a dragon. Like, so I'm not sure. You kind of like them, you kind of don't. You can feel that way about both sides, like Quinn and his people and Van Zandt and his people. But they end up butting heads for a while. But then they end up working together as the movie goes along. They end up getting along as the movie goes along. So I feel like I'm not still very good at telling you the story. I feel like I leave out a lot. I leave out a lot of important things. And I still stumble over my words a lot in my videos, so you please have to excuse me. But if you are intrigued by this movie and you don't want too many spoilers, stop now. Stop this video now, because I'm about to give away more of the ending. Like, I try not to give away too much because I want you as the viewers to feel like you don't want to watch this movie because I gave away too much. Plus, also, if I give away like the heart of the work, my videos are more likely to be flagged for copyright. But that's a fear of mine, to be flagged for copyright, so I'm like always mentioning it, but I'm sure that won't happen. But if you don't want more spoilers, stop now and go watch the movie. Are you still here? Okay, if you're still here, then Van Zandt and Quinn, they find out that most of the dragons have been like female dragons, and that there's only one male dragon. So if they kill him, they wipe out the entire species. Now, I forgot to mention another main character in this movie, Alex, who is another person from the American military. She is the helicopter pilot. So then Quinn, Alex, and Van Zandt end up going to London, where all of this started, to try and find the male dragon, because they think it's most likely he'll be there. That's like the den of the dragons. London is like their base, which they end up being right. The male dragon is there, and he's also a lot bigger than the other ones. Like, the other ones are very big to begin with, but he's huge. So they use certain plans and have certain tactics, ways to defeat the dragons. They use all of them and put their intelligence together, and they're able to actually kill the main dragon, the big one. Now, 1 out of 3 of the characters dies in this final fight. I'm not gonna tell you who, because I don't want to spoil it too much, but with, of course, casualties, but they're able to take down the dragon. And then it jumps forward, like, I can't remember if it's like a year or just a few months. Most of the dragons have died off already, as like the humans might be able to get back to the way they were in hundreds and hundreds of years. So although like this ending has a lot of triumph, I always found it kind of sad and melancholy, because it's like, yeah, it's better than the dragons taking over the world, but still it's like, will people ever get back to the way that they were? Because like, all the big cities destroyed, all the towns destroyed, there's just like civilizations here and there, so it's like, it'll take years and years if they even get back to the way that humans were. So I still find this ending a little melancholy, although it's mostly triumph. So for the outcome of this movie, I give it an 8 out of 10. Now that might sound really high, and I mean, yes it is, this movie is really good. I really do like this movie. But it's not one of those 8 out of 10s where you can watch it like all the time. Like, this is a once in a while movie, at least for me. So if this sounds like it's your type of movie, like if you're looking for a good action movie, this is it. And the ideas they have in this movie are really fun, really creative. And it's like, as much as I said it's kind of medieval, it's also kind of not. Like, yeah, they're riding horses and they're in like an almost medieval looking world, but there's also tanks and helicopters and modern technology. And although that sounds like it might clash in a movie, they actually like seamlessly put them together. So I think they did this movie really well. So I recommend it, and I think you should go watch it if this sounds like your type of movie. So usually now I would have segment 4 of the video, the expectations versus the outcome, but because I can't recall my expectations, we'll also just have to skip this segment too. So now we're at the end of this video. If you liked it, please hit that like button and subscribe, and comment what movie you want me to do if my comments are on. And I hope you enjoyed. I know I did. Until the next time, bye.